The Krogan blood pack actually see the Vorcha as having a high potential because of their individual adaptability. So the Krogan will pretty much just get a group of Vorcha and beat them into being soldiers. This is their training. They just beat the crap out of them. This makes them stronger, faster, smarter, and more resilient than other members of their race. So by adding more Vorcha, it actually makes the gang more vicious. In Mass Effect 2, the Blood Pack on Omega are led by the Krogan Battlemaster Garm. He claims that the group are the real muscle of Omega, and I pretty much agree. I don't doubt it. They want to take over not just the Blood Pack, but all the gangs. After they take down Archangel, they want to take over Arya. Shepard finds this evidence of the gangs planning against Arya, and then you could take it to Arya, and then she's like, "How adorable! Off with their heads!" The Blood Pack are the ones that want to take down Patriarch, Arya's prize, Arya's trophy, Arya's Krogan advisor. So they want to kill Patriarch to hurt Arya. Like I mentioned before when I was talking about the Blue Suns, the Blood Pack took over the Gozu district of Omega after the plague hit, because the plague pretty much wiped out a lot of the Blue Suns since they were Batarians and Turians. And then the Blue Suns themselves started to kill a lot of humans, so the Blue Suns lost control over that district. And since the Blood Pack consists of a large amount of Vorcha, the Vorcha are immune to the plague, so the Blood Pack took control of this Gozu district. And then when they found out that Mordin was coming up with a cure, in order to hold their control over this district, the plague was pretty much benefiting them. So they were like, cure? What? No. So they messed with the vents, the ventilation system, and that's when you go in with Shepard and you have to fix that. Dealing with Archangel, Garm, this Krogan that I was talking about, the fight that he has with Archangel says that it was one of the hardest fights that he's ever had, and it was pretty much, it went both ways for Garm as well. They fought for a long time, and eventually Archangel had to just flee the scene because Garm's men had arrived. So he was like, forget it, I can't do this. But once Shepard gets there, you do end up killing Garm. You end up killing those three leaders, Tarek, Garm, and Jareth. Also, during Jack's loyalty mission on Pragya, the Blood Pack were hired by this human named Arish, and he pretty much wanted them to provide security for his plan to restart the Telton facility. Arish had promised the Blood Pack lucrative salvage opportunities in exchange for helping him, but the Battlemaster, the Krogan, the leader of that operation, Kurek, became frustrated when they found nothing of value. So he was like, screw this. And then Shepard got there and killed everybody. Shepard is just so good at ruining people's days. Also on Tuchanka, this is during Mordin's loyalty mission, I believe. The Blood Pack serve as enforcers for Chief Werelock Gold. They want to find a cure for the genophage, and this is when the whole issue with Mordin's student Malin is trying to help them out and all that. That was the Blood Pack. You also find a Blood Pack recruiter on Tuchanka. He basically tells Shepard that they don't welcome humans in their group. On the Citadel, even though the Blood Pack is pretty much illegal on the Citadel, we do see a Blood Pack, a Krogan that is a Blood Pack mercenary, escorting the politician Joram Talid. I think this was during Thane's loyalty mission. The Krogan that the Turian is with, the bodyguard, is a Blood Pack. So now let's talk about the Talons. I like to call these the most patient. They're an all-Turian mercenary group and the largest independent gang on Omega. They're not the largest gang, they're just the largest independent gang. Because of the largest gangs are the Blue Suns, the Blood Pack, and the Eclipse. But when it comes to the independent gangs, the Talons are the ones that are up there. And after the mission with Archangel, after you take down the 3 leaders of those 3 groups, and you take down a bunch of members of the groups, those 3 gangs start losing power on Omega. They still have the upper hand, but they're not as strong as they used to be. So the Talons are actually growing even more for a few reasons. One, because the Talons swallow up smaller gangs, so they're growing physically. 2, they're pretty good at coexisting peacefully with Arya. They don't get on her bad side, or at least they try not to. And 3, like I said, that they started to grow in power after the 3 main gangs lost a lot of power after Archangel and Shepard beat them up. I mentioned this in the beginning. The Talons are pretty much only talked about in the novels. In Retribution, in the third novel, the last novel, Retribution, mostly, but they're also mentioned in Ascension, the second novel, I believe. They're into drug running, weapon smuggling, extortion, killing for hire, and slave trading. They also, for a good fee, allow ships and shuttles that want to avoid dealing with Arya dock at Talon-controlled ports. The role of the Talons in the book is, it pretty much starts off that a group of Arya's mercenaries, led by Paul Grayson, they're stealing red sand from the Talons. Red sand is an addictive drug that increases biotic powers. The reason why they're stealing from the Talons is because the Talons and Arya had an agreement. The Talons smuggle red sand, and Arya said, "You give me 2% of your earnings." But the Talons got greedy, and they started to move product without giving her a cut. So that's when she set the team of mercenaries to the Talons' headquarters. They pretty much killed a lot of the Talon members, and they stole a lot of their red sand. After that, the Talons go to talk to Arya because of the attack, and they're like, "What the hell happened? Why did you attack us?" And Arya's like, "Because you betrayed me. You didn't tell me that you were selling or that you were smuggling more red sand, and we were in an agreement. You were supposed to tell me, and you were not giving me my cut." Like, they were trying to do it under the table. And they're like, "Well, we're sorry. I'm sorry. We'll give you 3% now instead of 2%. And Arya's like, "No, I want 5%. And they're like, "Nobody pays 5%. And she's like, "Well, then I'm going to be the first one." Since they want to keep the relationship with Arya workable, they're like, "Fine." So they settle for 5%. And that's when Arya says that they're growing too fast and that someone needed to knock them down a notch. If you haven't read the books and you want to read the books, this is a spoiler. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler, but still. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers regarding the books, click on Charlie's face. Click on my face. On my face. On my beautiful face. The Charlie face. Charlie! In Retribution, we find out that Arya has a daughter. Her name is Lyselle. Kai Lang, the super ninja Cerberus dude, he's going to come out in Mass Effect 3. That's going to be pretty good. He ends up killing her. He kills Lyselle and captures Paul Grayson to take him back to Cerberus. When Arya finds out, when she goes to the apartment where she was killed, and she sees her daughter, she was actually naked. So she was actually naked, and Kai Lang had slit her throat. So Arya finds her like this, dead there on the ground, and Arya's like... But she doesn't know who did it. She's like, "What the hell happened?" And for a second, she thinks it was the Talons. She says, "It was the Talons, they were getting revenge, so they did this. They killed my daughter because of what we did, because we attacked them and all that." But then she's like, it doesn't make sense. Why would they go and apologize to keep the workable relationship. And why would they agree to give me 5% and then kill my daughter? Like, it didn't make sense to her. But yeah, that's just the way that the Talons are involved in the book. It was that in the beginning, and then they also show up a little bit later, towards the end. Not so much the end, but kind of towards the end. Anderson, Kali, and Kai Lang come in contact with a group of Talons. But that's pretty much it. And that's where Anderson talks about what I just went over. That's where I got my information. So that's pretty much it. Those are the Mass Effect gangs. So like I said, I think the gangs are going to make an appearance in Mass Effect 3 somehow. Because we are going to be going back to Omega. And I think the Talons are going to play a bigger role this time around. Just because they are growing in size. Which is going to be cool. I would love to see the Talons. I want to see their armor and all that, what they look like. And then they're all Turian. I mean, I think BioWare did a good job with the gangs. I love the way that they look and how they're each focused in a different aspect. Like, they're all mercenaries, but they all go about their jobs in a very different way, which is awesome. I find that really, really cool. Hopefully you found that interesting. Thank you for the request. I gotta run, so I'll talk to you guys later.